Hi, and welcome to Matt Holman Talks Mental Health, the podcast where I have the opportunity to sit down and chat with amazing humans about their journeys and experiences of mental health. For this episode, I'm so happy to introduce Ryan Hopkins to the conversation. Welcome, Ryan.
Hello, Matt. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. So as I always do, just a quick introduction to how Ryan and I got to this point of recording this conversation. Quick disclaimer in there, Ryan is recovering from COVID, thankfully towards the end of COVID at the moment. So he is self-isolating at home. So that's good. So he's not out there spreading.
I promise I won't infect anyone.
No, of course.
I said I'm going to turn this off every time I cough.
Yeah, so you may hear some coughing in the background a little bit, but we're obviously we're totally understanding. So how did Ryan and I get to this conversation? So we were introduced by a mutual contact, actually, somebody that I'd recorded a previous episode of the podcast with. So it's fantastic that the network starts to grow through relationships and through contacts as well. So Ryan and I have been having a conversation prior to this one, just about some of the work that he's doing, but I'm not going to share anything. I'm going to let Ryan, you do your proper introduction, mate. Let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, what was that meant to be a 15-minute conversation, and we ended up on the blower for like almost an hour or so. And I was like, I was like, this could go long. This one, that was good fun. Yeah. Well, hi everyone. My name is Ryan Hopkins. I'm the Global Workplace of the Future lead at Finastra. Essentially, putting together innovative places, leading our return to work post-COVID, making sure we've got a seamless user experience across the world for all of our 10,000 people. And essentially creating a culture which enables people to flourish. And I'm focusing on empowerment so people can do what they need to do, because what do I know about what you need? So basically, I'm trying to make it a really cool place, a place that people love to work, with the focus being on embedding well-being at the heart of everything we do. That's what I do as a day job anyway. I do a couple of extra bits, a bit like Matt.
Yeah, some things, right? Just we might talk about some of those as well. Global Workplace of the Future Leader. There you go. What a title, eh? I love that. I've never seen that one before, so I like it. It's cutting a new trend. So brilliant stuff. Ryan, we're here to talk about mental health and that journey, of course. The big question is your journey with mental health. You define it, describe it, explore it as you will. But please tell us a story. Tell us a little bit more about you.
It's definitely a journey, but who isn't it a journey for, right? Yeah. It's taken me to be sick again. As I'm talking to you today, this morning, I had great plans. Sunday night, I was like, all right, I'm not going to watch Match of the Day tonight. That's at 10:30. I'm going to bed early with my book. Yeah. I was tucked up at like 9:30. I was like, I'm going to be up at 7. I'm going to have a coffee, get ready. Did I manage to get up at 7 o'clock this morning? Not a bloody chance. I know I was up at 9:15, panic, no alarm going. Oh, no. And I was like, you know that feeling where you elevate yourself out of bed because you made yourself jump so much? Yeah, that was me this morning.
Right.
Perfect start. So I'm like running around. I got to get my lemsip and my coffee. I was like, oh, I'm speaking to Matt in a bit. I was like making sure I was ready. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a journey this morning already, but
yeah.
Who would have it any other way?
Exactly. We could spend half an hour just talking about your morning. Let's try and condense your life into half an hour if we can, Ryan.
So that's easy peasy. My journey, I guess it started a very long time ago. Once upon a time, as most good stories do. When I was in school, my parents split fairly young. I had 2 younger brothers, and I basically had to work quite young to help support my mum and my brothers and come home and look after my 2 younger brothers because my mum was studying at the time. Okay. So didn't really do that well in school. Half of it was that and half of it was, I don't know, just didn't get many GCSEs, working full time then when I was at college. So again, didn't get much in the way of A-levels just to set the scene. And then got a job as an electrical apprentice. I was trained to be an electrician. Bit of a difference from the Global Workplace of Future lead slightly. It's a non-linear career progression.
Little one, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But basically, I did that for the best part of 18 months, 2 years, and then broke my leg playing rugby and broke my leg and my ankle. And I didn't walk for the best part of a year, had 2 operations when I was 19. And essentially, like you lose your identity at that age. You're still trying to work out who you are. And very much my identity was like a rugby player going out, helping one of the lads. Yeah. And that was gone. And then put on a lot of weight as I was unable to move, unable to walk. I lost my job because I lost the funding for that as well. So there, I was unemployed, 19 years old, in debt, overweight, and then became quite depressed. And I didn't really see a way out at that time. So that was when I was, I don't know, like thinking about how to end it, I guess, at that point.
Okay. Right.
And then my mum, as I said, she was studying. She's actually studying to be like a mental health nurse.
Right.
But
Yep.
she found it really difficult to intervene so close to home. So she always tried to get me the support from someone else because
Sure.
I don't know, it's difficult, Matt, as you understand, right, with your understanding and everything that you go for. I'm sure you completely get it.
Yep.
So got some help, went to the doctors, got put on strong antidepressants, and I don't know why, they made me essentially like hallucinate. And I saw myself, I was in a wheelchair, and I used to like, because I'm quite a determined person. If I do something, I'm going in 110. Like there's no 50 or 20, I'm doing it a bit. I'm in like 2 feet, absolutely, and I'll fail or get it done. There's not no other alternative. So essentially, I used every day I'd try and take my wheelchair for a ride, and I took it like 6 miles once, and I had to call because I like blistered my hands, and I was like, but I've got to try and stay fit. But I always took it like around the block, and it was quite hilly, so I was like giving it some. My hands are calloused, and then I saw myself like hanging from trees, and I was like, I'm losing my mind at this point. Kind of come through that with my mum's support mainly, and essentially lots of love at that time. Regained the ability to walk, learning all that sort of stuff, and then managed to get myself a job at Halifax as a teller.
Okay.
Like on the cash points.
Yeah.
On the cash front. Yeah, not the cash point, not an ATM, but you get me.
I know what you mean. On the
why they were still there. Exactly. That's how could I not find that word? And yeah, I was pretty good at that because so ice to an Eskimo. I was one of the top sellers in the UK.
Okay. Brilliant.
And yeah, just good at it. Started to lose some weight, went back to the gym, and I was like, okay, I got this. And then as I do go fully in on everything, I ended up making myself bulimic at that time.
Right.
Because I was like, well, I can do this. I've got this in my power. I was completely powerless. And then I was like, well, now I'm here and I've got this power, and then I took it too far. So it's like almost like these huge swings. I could never quite find like moderation. I was like in or I was out. I was up or I was down. And I don't know, contrast is the spice of life, but potentially that was too much.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So went through that for the best part of, I think it was a year, 2 years, and come through the other end of that. I met someone who like helped open my eyes essentially, and she was like, "Do you want to go traveling?" And like, so sold everything I had, managed to cobble together about £2,000, and we flew one way to Argentina.
Okay.
And we lasted about a year on like £2,000, like volunteering and traveling and stuff like that, living real cheap, but amazing experience. And if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have like seen anything outside of my small like hometown. Well, I grew up in Hastings and Bexhill, between those two places, and that was it. That was going to be the world, and that's cool. But like, yeah, I was lucky that I met her and she helped open my eyes to the world. If it weren't for that, I don't know if I would have come forward. We're not together now. I'm grateful we were, though. Do you know what I mean? It's a period of my life I'm grateful for. So then when I was traveling, I was like, well, being from the UK, it sounds awfully cheesy. You realize how lucky you are that you have all these opportunities. And I was like, well, when I go home, I'm going to try and study, because I helped set up a hostel business in Ecuador. I live with this family on the side of a mountain. And they were like, yeah, I know, so random. And then did it in Spanish. I taught myself Spanish while I was traveling.
Wow.
And I was like, well, this is awesome. I was like, I'd like a bit more of this, please. So I thought, international business management. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be an international businessman. How or why or no idea really. I was like, well, this is me now. And Matt, as I told you, if I do something, it's getting done.
All in, yeah.
So I applied to universities, but I didn't really have any A levels or GCSEs, as I said. So it's kind of difficult to approach university. How about your UCAS points like? Points. Ooh, this is awkward.
Yeah, UCAS. What's UCAS?
Yeah, I was like, what about life experience?
Yeah. Any life points? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Well, it turned out I had a few. So
There
I
you go.
did get accepted to one of like the lower ranked institutions. I went there and I was putting it together, and it was the first time like I was really able to study without having to worry about anything else. And I did quite well. And I got like high first class in my first year. And I thought I'm going to transfer somewhere different to essentially like a better uni, try and like move up the ranks, because why just accept what it is? You always got to push for more, push, got to squeeze everything out of it. Let's go, and everything's just like on more. Well, this kind of comes together in a minute. So went to transferred to Oxford Brookes, was playing a lot of rugby at that time again and doing really well. But then I put so much pressure on myself. Like I've gone from like not thinking I'll go to university to uni, try and transfer to a better one. And then when I got to the next one, I was like, you got to do it. You got an amazing opportunity. There's no stopping here. Like you come where you come from, like you have all this power. You have to do well here. There's all this like pressure I was just putting on myself. And I made myself like so anxious then that I couldn't leave my room without feeling like I was going to wet myself, which is quite a horrible feeling. I used to get it in the middle of lecture halls on the bus. I'd have to jump off on the motorway and just like get the driver to let me off, or run out of rooms. And I couldn't not be near like inside. For that would last about a year as well. That's because all the pressure I put on myself, I think. And I was like, you have to do well. You got this opportunity. Like, you know what it's like when you have nothing. Like the only way you can go through this is to do the best that you can. So, but managed to get through university that summer. I went out or the second year, went out to Spain and ran a cocktail bar. Again, having that feeling all the time, never being too far from the toilet. Not that I'd let anyone know that. So I kept it all to myself, because you're a bar manager, you're a rugby player, you got to be strong, and you don't feel these issues. So how embarrassing is that? Like for me, I couldn't tell anyone. Like it was horrible. Then when I managed, always again, I'm trying to like squeeze every drop out of everything. It's a common theme in my life. But then got back and I'd like 3 weeks before I had to go back to uni. I was like, well, I'm going to go out to Italy and teach a summer school, because why relax? And then back from Spain, out to Italy, I was the headmaster of this summer school, and that was awesome. Come back, finish my degree. I worked as a bouncer when I was in Oxford as well. I was obviously the most anxious bouncer in the world, but again, not that anyone else knew.
Did you stand on the inside of the door? You were on the inside of the door though, right?
I was on the inside, not the outside. Yeah, just so I could make a quick escape to the toilet, but I'd walk down there. But
it's incredible.
Again, it's wearing like multiple skins and pretending that it's all okay on the out, like an avatar. I would always put these on, and I'd be amazing at giving a show, and no one would have an idea. But underneath, I was like shaking all the time. So finished university, got a high first class, then applying for grad jobs, and ended up getting a job at Deloitte, one of the big four consultancies, where I went into tech consulting. Doing lots of therapy at this point to try and deal with my anxiety. I even tried hypnotherapy at one point, and that didn't work that well. I was like, I don't care where it comes from. So someone just help me. I want to be able to get in a car. I want to be able to like get on a train without worrying. So finished and got to Deloitte, and then kind of the pressure was alleviated a little bit and started to feel better. But then when I was there, I think it was because I kind of like felt in my head like I'd arrived a bit and I didn't have to do all these other things, and I started talking more openly about it. And then I was speaking at events with people and the panels and saying like it's okay. And eventually when I was on with a large client, I was with Dyson, and I set up their global wellbeing function on this big program, and I was like super junior. And I was nominated for like the Young Consultant of the Year while I was there across like the whole UK industry. It was a long travel from broken leg electrical apprentice, but I thought this is like, I can actually be honest about where I'm at, where I've come from and how I feel. And that was almost like a light bulb moment. And ever since that point, I've read like vociferously, and I listen to podcasts like they're going out of fashion. So I'm like surrounded by this like positive content, I think, which ultimately changed my view. And that happened once I left university. And I thought, I don't know, it's kind of like a shift in like the content I was taking in and what I was exposed to, and that made a huge like change in the way that I used to think about things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the reading, being surrounded by that kind of atmosphere, and the podcast were massive, and that was quite a while ago now. So it's lots of work at Deloitte trying to build that brand, and I thought I want to specifically do this because this was like side of desk for me, not my main like day job. And then I got a job at Sainsburys leading wellbeing and collaboration there. Loved that. And I was like, at that point, last January, I was like, I'm going to start writing and sharing stuff and creating videos. I thought, not that anyone's going to want to listen to me, but it made me feel good, just like telling my story. So I'm focusing on creating, not so much the result of it, and taking that pressure off myself a little bit. Do your bits, see what happens. Don't worry about it. Have fun. Huge shift to how it's always been. Then I was made redundant in early this year, and I managed to fall upwards into my current role. But because of all the writing I've done and sharing and putting myself out there a bit more and being honest about this stuff, I think it helped secure this position. And now I'm writing a book in addition to my day job. So Toilet Break Wellbeing. It sounds silly because it is. Trying to make wellbeing fun and accessible for all. There's this huge like stigma around it. The word stigma is said a lot, but I think we always think of it as like almost like a negative thing, mental health or well-being, but it doesn't have to be. It's about doing loads of tiny things regularly that will make an astronomical difference in your life, and prioritizing yourself first. Because my self-worth was on like pushing forwards and achievement and like looking to the next thing, never in me being like a good person. Whereas now I'm like, I'm just great. I feel happy because I try and do the right thing in the right moment, and then I can go to sleep much easier, instead of being like, I have to achieve, I have to do this. I don't have to do anything. I just have to do what makes me happy daily, and the rest will take care of itself. And since I've taken that pressure off, it's starting to go really well. It's exciting. I've been asked to speak at The Economist Live next March on the stuff that I do. Speaking at conferences. I spoke at Amazon, Salesforce, and I love it. And it's a long old journey, and a few like bumps and scars and nicks along the way, but ultimately it makes you a more colorful and interesting person, I think. You know, like the Japanese art of kintsugi, I'm sure you know.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So essentially, when a piece of china was dropped, it was from the 1600s. I love this so much. This is me.
Yep.
A piece of china was dropped, or a plate or something, they would put it back together with glue and gold lacquer.
Yes.
So then the cracks were ultimately part of the art and made the piece more beautiful and like more resilient, and actually makes it stronger. So I think I've got cracks everywhere. I'm full of them. I'm sick right now, but I'm ultimately much more grateful, more resilient, I think happier, and in a better place to help other people as a result. So that's it really. That's it. I try and work out how to tell that story. It's I don't want to. I also feel I don't want to like bore people with it. It's funny. About your own story. Like you get. I don't know. Maybe because I've said it a few times, and I'm trying to work out how to say that properly. And I've still not quite worked it out. I don't know if I ever will, but I try to make that as succinct and
I don't think
understandable as possible.
Though, it's fascinating.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter, and it's fascinating. Your story is incredible, you know, and all the stories that people tell, you know, everybody's story is unique to them. That's the reality, isn't it? Okay, we might have told it a few times and we feel like, oh my god, I've got to share it again, or maybe people are just bored of my story, but actually a lot of people have never heard it. So
I know it's so funny that you still have that there though.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if that'll ever leave.
No, I don't think it would. And every time you stand up and you say a part of your story, or you give an insight from your perspective, you feel, I don't know if this is for you, but you sometimes feel like, do people really believe me? Do they really trust that I'm being genuine with this? Or, you know, it's all about motives. Lots of people see motives, don't they, in what people are doing. We've talked about this actually before we recorded.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, it's like, why are you saying all this? Why are you sharing all this? Well, you're obviously doing it for your own greater good. And actually, I look at what I do, and I know we had this conversation before, and I think everything I do is to help people who are struggling. That's ultimately what this is. And you sharing what you're sharing is incredible. I love all the parts of your journey. And as I always say, I love your journey. I just don't love the fact that you've been through some of those experiences, because they are really hard.
If it weren't, I wouldn't be talking to you today, right?
100%. Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. Yeah. But, you know, maybe you would have made a great electrician.
At the time, I probably wasn't so appreciative. But
I've got some sockets rewiring. So, you know, if you'd have stayed in it, I could have had you as an electrician.
I tried to fix the light the other day. I've forgotten everything.
First thing is turn the fuse off, right?
Yeah, I forgot. No, yeah, we're not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to sell anything. I don't have my own business. I'm just just trying to help people and have fun in the process. That's something we seem to forget. And I think all of this, no matter what you've been through, when you're in the throes of it, can seem awful difficult to see outside of the fog. But when you're on the outside looking in, you can reflect, and I don't know, you learn, don't you? Like post-traumatic growth, or there's always space for that. True. As difficult as it can be in the moment.
You made a really important comment in there as well in the past piece, which was around, you know, it's not all bad, it's not all negative, you know, and the trouble with well-being and mental health is the stigma, you know, especially around mental health, and we both know that, we understand that, and it's how do we break that down to say, well, actually, mental health is a positive experience of life as well. It's not just about when you're struggling, it's also about when you're thriving and when you're doing well, because those are what we want. You know, ultimately we all want more of that, don't we? I love this this book that you're, you know, the Toilet Break Wellbeing element. So can you give us a little snippet into what that would include? What sort of couple of ideas around it?
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously people will make their own interpretations when they hear toilet break. Just put that out there right away.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's meant to be ridiculous and sound stupid. That's the whole point of it.
I love it. Yeah.
I started creating all the videos and talking about what I do, because my work is about looking across the whole work piece. I think sometimes when you're in the well-being space, you're almost like limited to look at yoga class and talk about mental health once there's a World Mental Health Day, but you're not allowed outside your little cage.
Yep.
And I'm lucky now that I sit in a role that I can influence how we work day to day, and that's where the value is. That's building it into what we do. So I started like talking about this stuff. I was like, I love this, and I'm always like, I'm like you, I'm so interested in it, and I'm always like got multiple books on the go. I listen to 7 gazillion podcasts, and like, so I've got that everywhere, and I got like my mind's like springing around with it. It's like you surround yourself with this information, and then you kind of like become it, because you are what you surround yourself by. Like that thing about the 4 people you spend the most time with, that you're a direct average of those people. Same with the information you're exposed to. If you watch the news all day, inherently you're going to be quite upset. If you listen to podcasts, the Tim Ferriss Show, Hidden Brain, TED Radio Hour, reading like positive books, and that's what you become. So you are what you consume. I don't want to say Socrates. It's something like that, but you are what you consume. So I started creating this stuff and loved it, and I thought, it was always a year ago. I know I'm not answering the question well here, but I applied to do kicking off my content stuff. I applied to do a TED Talk.
Okay.
Do I have the right to share a stage with people like yourself and others at that stage? No, but I thought, I'm going to put myself out there, and then you start associating yourself with that level of person, and you pull your own barriers away, and other people think, this guy gets it. Like, he's applying for a TED Talk. Was I ever going to get on stage? Not a chance. Did it make me lift my own barriers on myself? Yes, massively.
Brilliant.
Then I started creating, and I thought, well, I'm going to become an author. Why not? I can do whatever I want. And I was just like, there was no point then. I was like, oh, I won't be able to do this. No, I will. I'm going to get this done. So I said about it straight away. Like, no, before I've written a page, it's like, I'm going to write a book.
World, wait for this. Yeah.
That's it. Like, mate, you make yourself accountable. You like put yourself out there, and if I say I'm going to get something done, I'm still a bit like, I'm going to get it done. Like, it's getting done.
Yeah.
I've kind of relaxed on the outcome, but like, it's getting done. So each page of the book essentially is one like well-being thing that you can do when you leave the loo. So if you all sit down on the toilet, I'm sitting there, probably 15 minutes deep in Instagram, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm liking something from Lab Bible, and then something else. I'm like, I have achieved nothing. Not that everything has to be a moment to achieve, but I thought now could be a time to share like a message. I thought, okay. And then it was like coffee break wellbeing I started with, and then I was sitting on the toilet one day. I thought, toilet break wellbeing. It sounds weird enough and odd enough to work. So I see it being at the front, kind of similar to James Clear's Atomic Habits on like how you build habits, but like building well-being into your day. So prioritizing what you need to be your best self, and then doing everything after that. So you're non-negotiable with what you need to do each day. And I help like talk about that up front, about how we build these tiny habits in that are so like small, but they make a huge difference together. They compound. And then each page essentially is going to be you pick up one page on kintsugi, like I spoke about before, or like the power of getting out for a walk, and then a couple of stats and then a challenge. Like nice and simple. Not sure if I'm going to have illustrations in there yet, but like, yeah, there's going to be 100 pages. Each page that I write, I do as a video. So it's how I'm trying to like publicize the book. And I've got, since I started creating content in January, I've got over 1 million views on all platforms now, which is
incredible. It's amazing.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's going quite well, slowly and surely. Bit by bit, page by page. I'm only doing 2 pages a week, no more. So because I work full time and I train and meditate and read, and I don't want to make it another thing that I get a bit obsessive about. I want to enjoy the process. So when I'm not sick, I could go to Gales around the corner and like sit in the same seat. And then like order the same thing, and I love the routine.
Yeah, but that's great, isn't it? It's so. And so, how many pages so far?
That's my personality. I have written just over 30 now.
Okay, amazing.
So we're getting there. I've got the ideas for 60, so I kind of like write it in my notes app as I'm like listening to a podcast. I was like, boom, today I'm going to do a video on cosmic insignificance therapy.
Oh, gosh.
I know that
doesn't sound
horribly complex.
That doesn't say a single toilet visit, that one.
It is, I promise.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
If you think about yourself in the context of the universe, in the whole expanse of time and how large everything is, you are so insignificant that you don't matter. And as soon as you realize that, everything pales in comparison.
Yeah, of course.
Like you are a grain of sand on the beach of everything. And when you kind of like put yourself out like that, you're like, well, my problems are fairly trivial and I'll be gone soon, so why not enjoy it?
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be intrigued to read that page. Yeah, definitely. That's amazing.
They're all like just different things, like thought provoking. I'm not an expert, but it's just meant to be fun.
Yeah, but you're sharing your thoughts, you're sharing your research, your wisdom, your observations, and I think that's important as well, you know. So, and if you can laugh about it, and if we can laugh about it, I'm sure, you know, everybody will be able to enjoy it a little bit more as well. It's really, so fascinating. We're coming right towards the end of this half an hour, Ryan. I can't believe this is like our first conversation. We schedule like 20 minutes and carry on. It could go on and on and on, right? So
I promise it wasn't just me talking so much in the first conversation. Matt was very much participating to that conversation.
Absolutely, 100%. So what I'm going to do, Ryan, as I always do, is I'll give you the floor in a moment just to sort of say your final thoughts, words of wisdom, where people can find you as well, so they can follow some of your content that's already out there. That'd be really useful. I'll drop that all into the text to this as well. So but thank you from me to you, just to say thank you for participating in this and joining me for this conversation. So any final thoughts, Ryan, over to you?
Firstly, thank you for having me and for everything you do. Just each person that talks about it more helps another person, right? And I got a message the other day from someone on LinkedIn who I worked with previously. She was like, I just wanted to feedback that I love the stuff you're doing. And now every night before my daughter goes to bed, we say 3 things we're grateful for. So created a gratitude journal for her. And I was like, oh, my heart. I was like, oh. So sometimes you feel like it's not helping people and you get the odd like message or thing like that. And it makes it all worth it. And just wanted to say, like, if I could implore people to do anything, it would be to focus on themselves first and what they need to do, because unless you look after yourself, you won't be able to look after anyone else. So build your day around you, prioritize what you need to do each day, and then you can work afterwards. Then you'll be more effective. You'll be a better partner, husband, father, wife, daughter, XYZ. And then, yeah, and just be a bit more patient with yourself. That's what I wish I'd done. Actually, I don't wish I'd change anything, but if I could give my young self some advice, it would just to be a bit more patient. Like, you got this, just wait, it's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thank you for having me. That was a meandering piece of advice at the end. I don't know how helpful that'll be.
Very helpful,
but very much akin to my story, I think.
Yeah, well, life is a long journey, right? And it's so relevant, and it connects it so well. Life is a long journey, and sometimes we need to have that little bit of patience when things aren't going so well, to know in time. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because we don't have that crystal ball to be able to say when, but in time things can improve every day. From a traumatic impact, every day away from that is a step away from that. And it's just having the ability to see that sometimes. So I think your words are very wise and great wisdom in there. Ryan, thank you so much. Where can people find your content? That was the other piece.
Good point. Yeah, so on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, I've got the handle Future of Wellbeing.
Future of Wellbeing. Okay. Yeah.
I have to make it sound grandiose and large, don't I? Because it wouldn't be me otherwise. Yeah. And then on LinkedIn, it's just Ryan Hopkins, and that's where I do most of my stuff. But yeah, it'd be great to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Anyone is welcome. Brilliant. And thank you very much again, Matt, for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I love the idea of you being on TikTok, so I'm going to be looking for those unicorn dances and everything else. But nobody look for mine, please. I only do it.
I'm actually studying today how to find a galaxy background to do the cosmic significance therapy. I'm trying to learn how to do the more fun TikTok style videos. So we'll see how that goes.
Hey, you never know, right?
Because a full-time job, having COVID and everything else isn't enough.
Oh, just keep layering it on. Keep layering it on.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure. For anybody that's listening, if you are struggling with any of the conversations that we've been having, and obviously Ryan shared sort of his experiences with mental health, if you are struggling, know that you're not alone. That's the most important message I think that we can share with everybody that listens to this podcast. You are genuinely not on your own. There are people out there, organizations that exist today to support conversations if you need a safe space to talk. Samaritans, of course, you can call on 116 123, or you can text a shout 85258. There are many other organizations as well out there. But we're done here, Ryan. Thank you so much for your conversation today. Really do appreciate it. Get well soon. I hope you recover well. And I know just a couple of days away from freedom, right, for yourself.
I do hope so.
Enjoy.
As resilient as I am, I really don't want to be spending Christmas on my own.
No, of course. No. This is an evergreen episode, just in case anybody's listening. Christmas happens on the 25th of December every year, so it could be at any point. So never on your own for Christmas again, Ryan. All right, mate. Look after yourself.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.